Good morning, everybody. My name is Jaramillo. I am the head of the Energy and Mining Planning Unit in Colombia, UPME. The Colombian government is committed to have innovation at the heart of its energy transition in order to achieve its ambitious decarbonization goals. We already have a large hydro generation capacity, and we have successfully achieved firm commitments from onshore wind and solar, amounting to an increase in generation capacity of nearly 25%. The country contemplates also a range of strategies to deploy other clean technologies like hydrogen, offshore wind generation, geothermal energy, and bioenergy. Offshore wind is an important part of the Colombian energy strategy. A diversified generation matrix is an essential ingredient of the Colombian plan for climate change. In line with decarbonization, we are already adding onshore wind and solar generation to our large hydro generation capacity, as I said before. This accelerated effort to include wind and solar in our generation matrix faces several challenges, among them the impact on the territory of the construction of new infrastructure. Transmission lines and large wind farms are often contentious projects for the population on the ground, particularly where ethnic communities and territories are affected. The outlook for these conflicts is uncertain, and they may very well become more salient in the future. Offshore wind has several advantages with respect to these issues. Obviously, overlaps with culturally significant areas for ethnic groups is less than onshore, and also the larger scale of the turbines may allow for a more intensive use of surface area. More specific to the Colombian context, our main potential for offshore wind farms is conveniently located close to population centers whose energy demand is projected to grow at above average rates. They are currently growing at 8% yearly, whereas the rest of the country is growing its energy demand at about 4% yearly. Preliminary results suggest that we will have an estimated potential between 24 and 37 gigawatts of generation power, offshore wind, distributed in 6 possible zones in the Caribbean coast, 2 of them near Barranquilla and Santa Marta, these population centers, and the remaining 4 in La Guajira. We have been working with international investors from Denmark and the UK, who will be key actors for the developments of future offshore projects. So I have already talked about the advantages Colombia sees in offshore wind. Some challenges, however, still need to be addressed. On the one hand, offshore wind is new to our portfolio of energy projects. In particular, our experience in the energy sector with offshore area concessions is limited. The National Maritime Directorate, the DIMAR, needs to establish an effective regulatory framework for maritime surface projects that provides flexibility, predictability, and stability to potential investors. The National Agency of Environmental Licenses, the ANLA, and the Ministry of the Environment and Sustainable Development are working on the development of the terms of reference for accessing environmental licenses. With regard to social conditions for project development, and especially in relation to prior consultation, we need to attain greater clarity on what the impacts may be and how to approach the communities for this type of project. Last but not least, energy generation in Colombia plays according to market rules. Although Colombia understands the necessity for incentives for new technologies, is willing to introduce them, and has done so effectively in the past, we have to develop economically viable business models for offshore wind to take a firm long-term hold in the Colombian energy sector. So offshore wind is in the strategic radar of the Colombian energy planning, and we are aware that several challenges remain. Fortunately, one needs not travel this road alone, especially because there are resources already in place from which we can draw help. Colombia is currently working on developing an offshore wind roadmap for the country with the support of the World Bank, specifically from its Energy Sector Management Assistance Program. This roadmap will include a detailed analysis of the areas suitable for the development of offshore wind projects, the economic costs and benefits, the fundamental issues that should be addressed through technical studies, the responsible entities, the licensing processes that are involved, the regulatory or policy changes that would be necessary to facilitate offshore wind development. We're also currently working on a series of 9 training sessions to enhance the capacities and knowledge with the support of the Skills Share program of the UK Partnering for Accelerated Climate Transitions, the UK Pact. And as a complement to the work with the World Bank and the UK, and with the support of the Embassy of Denmark, we applied for the Danish Energy Transition Initiative, which focuses on supporting actions to achieve NDC's goals and the emission reductions from the energy sector. To summarize, offshore wind is clearly part of the Colombian energy future. We have excellent potential, and its location matches conveniently with energy demand growth. Several challenges remain to pave the road, but we are actively drawing lessons from international experience to facilitate offshore wind development in the near future. Thank you very much.